So we're going to go to Mark in Colorado. Mark, how are you?
I'm good. How are you?
I'm very well, thank you. Specifically in the VIX, what are you looking at?
I was just trying to figure out if you could give me a little bit of a wave count on that. It looked like, to me, it has made a B, daily
Correct,
B,
B-minus,
and
right.
wondering if you think it's poised to go to a C and a D. Maybe I'm wrong.
Well, let me put it this way. When I look at the VIX in relation to the time sequence, my thinking is that I would say within 6 weeks to maybe, we just started September, somewhere between now and mid-October, maybe even a little later, if the Dow at any point breaks under 25,000, and that's only 900 points, that's not a big deal, but if it does that, it would start the sequence with the news events and everything that could culminate, that could take the VIX index to the 2835 area. That's looking out over the next 2 months, but I need to get signals where the rotation is impacting, like we just looked at the defensive stocks, not defense, but defensive stocks like Johnson & Johnson, Procter & Gamble. Even they have to come down very sharply in that 1,000-point decline. And it has to be sustained, and it has to start being accompanied by, I don't care whether it's tariffs or whether it's impeachment, or I don't care what it is. It has to, well, I do care what it is. I'm just saying in terms of the market relationship, I don't care what it is. It needs to have the cover, the headline news that is absolutely consistent hour after hour, and it has to go on day after day and week after week with bad news. The market must perceive whatever it is as bad news. Could be Canada, who knows? But whatever it is, it has to come about, and then it has to be repeated over and over. I did a couple of years ago, no, about a year ago, I started doing, it was very difficult to do. There is a technique, but I haven't quite discovered it, where you do a Google search and you find how many times a particular word is being mentioned in the media all over the show. And I like to do that, and then I like to chart it. I lost the technique. I can't remember how I did it. I'm going to try to do it again very soon because it's going to become very important. So just on a more intermediate term, the moment that the volatility index starts to trade between 15.5 and 16.5 for 3 sessions in one entire week, then we're going to start to see the VIX become much more meaningful. My thinking is on a shorter term basis, as soon as I get whatever signals I'm hoping to get in my Dow chart that says, be careful, now you're getting something that could be a sell signal, that's when I'm going to be looking at the VIX as a trade. As it looks right now, at 13.59, up 43 cents, it's reflecting part of the market, but it's also saying, hey, because the Dow's up, it's not as bad as it should be, even though the VIX index is really S&P related, and you get VIXN, which is more NDX related. Let me have a look at the VIXN, VXN.X. I think that's still active. Yeah, that's up a little more. That's up 6.02%, and the VIX is only up 3.27%. And that's pertaining to, if I run them down here, you've got Amazon. Amazon is down 28, having made looks like a peak D. Google, I'm going to Google Alphabet. I'm not going to Google L. So yeah, down very sharply from the high, the peak D that was made in the daily, peak F in the weekly. Facebook, and if I keep going, you'll see that the NDX, the 100, that's being impacted a lot more. And I think that that's a tell on one sector. But if you suddenly get the defensive stocks like Procter & Gamble taking some of the lead, there are enough of those stocks in the Dow to help the Dow and perhaps the S&P. So let me make it real clear. The VIX index right now, I'm looking at it. I've looked at it for a few days, mentioned in my newsletter. It's on my focus. We do want to start getting a position in something like the UVXY. I think that's one of the better ones. UVXY is the ProShares Ultra VIX Ultra VIX short-term index. It's pulling back from the high of today of 8.94. It's at 860. Keep an eye on it. Do you trade the VIX via one of these vehicles?
Yeah, I do the UVXY, and sometimes I even play the calls and the puts on it.
So if you, I'm pleased that you mentioned that, because if you're looking at puts and calls, if you're looking out, my suspicion is that this is a better time to be looking at the call side of the UVXY, and I take some premium. That's just the way it is. And go further out. You don't have to go to September. Maybe September is still quite a few weeks, but I would go more towards October, and that's what I'd be looking at if you're doing it. But you'll get a really good sign if the general market, I mean everything, pulls back together, and then you want the VIX itself to start trading in the mid-teens, and if it can hold there, that's with bad news. You've got to get that bad news. And I'd also watch the TLT. Let's put the whole package together. The TLT is down 29 cents. If the TLT starts to rally back into it's at 1974, TLT starts to rally to 121.50, and all of a sudden, within 3 days or something, we're looking at the VIX, the TLT trading in the 122.50 or higher. As the market pulls back, another sign for me to say, okay, start thinking about the short side in greater detail, and you can be more prolific in adding to the short side once that happens. I think that's going to be my strategy. In the meantime, I see just enough resistance. Look at this, the SMHs yesterday, the semiconductor index had a fabulous day, and today it's made another recovery high. As long as the semis are working and the Dow's working, I think it does give some kind of a cushion to even the other indices which are overbought, at least for the moment. When I see the SMHs start to close under 106.50, together with the general market, I think we've got ourselves, all the little ducks will be in order. So that's kind of the way I'm looking at it. I hope that helps you.
Yeah, it does. Thank you.
Thank you very much, and good call. Thank you. So, folks.